What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with a new top 5 for you guys. And today we're taking a look at the 5 best dinos you can use to gather element. So guys, this is pretty much going to just comprise of dinos that are best suited to going around the map collecting element. Now these aren't going to be, well, they are going to be your typical dinos that you probably can foresee coming. But the first creature on this list is actually the one we are riding on. So up ahead, guys, you can see an element nodule thing. And over here we also have one. Now, if you guys obviously aren't flying around like this and you're not face up with it, well, the creature coming in at number 5 can assist you with that. And the creature coming in at number 5 is the Snow Owl. Now, the Snow Owl, as you guys are aware, has the thermal vision. The thermal vision actually detects the nodules, the element nodes. So while you're flying around, if you're behind like structures or something, or like terrain and stuff, and you can't actually see it, you might actually miss the element nodules. Now, obviously, they're a little bit hard to miss, but if you do miss it, well, the Snow Owl is here to help, because it essentially allows him to go about seeing the element nodules underground. So you can see that they actually carry on underground, and they give off a heat sensing, which allows the Snow Owl to pick them up. Now, obviously, the reason why the Snow Owl is in at number 5 is because of that very reason. If you're flying by and, like I said, you're blocked by terrain or something like that, and you don't see it, like, well, for example, it's a little bit hard, but for example, you're on your Snow Owl and you come to land on this little platform here to kill something, you could potentially miss the element nodule if you just kind of get up and fly away. If you've got your heat vision activated, however, you can see the nodules. Now, as well as that, we're going to chuck it in for the reason because he's able to defend the element nodules by seeing the creatures that get spawned in. This allows you to defeat them easier and to find them quicker. So the Snow Owl comes in at number 5. Alright guys, now coming in at number 4, we have the Anki. The Anki is, well, obviously the 4th best creature to use to gather element on the extinction map. Now, as you can see, you can actually go around the city destroying the tables, destroying lampposts. See the lamppost down there? Element dust. Now, with this element dust, you can then actually turn it into pure element. So for that, you actually need to come to one of these city terminals, chuck in your element dust, and pretty much 1,000 element dust makes a single element. However, you can use element shards, and you can craft a ton of them up by using 10 element dust. So 10 element dust gives you 1 unstable element shard, and over time they'll spoil, turning into normal stable element shards. So guys, the Anki comes in at number 4 because he does have the ability to gather the element shards, not in as much bulk as you would hope for, but he is an option for early players that don't have the capabilities of taking on the element veins yet. They can go around the city harvesting the light posts, the tables, and pretty much just everything and anything. Now, our rates are on 3 times as well, so do take that into consideration when you're seeing us gather the element dust. But the Anki comes in at number 4. Alrighty guys, so coming in at number 3, we have the Therosaurus. Now, the Therosaurus, believe it or not, is actually capable of harvesting these element vein nodes. How, you may wonder? Well, by utilizing his secondary and 3rd attacks. Now, as you guys are aware, the Theory has 3 attacks. He's got his big swiping one, which you can use to cut down trees. His little fiber gathering one, which you can see there, which enables you to gather fiber. And then his head clonking one, which actually enables you to gather berries. Now, this enables the Therizino to harvest element shards, as well as element and element dust from these element veins. Now, we're going to drop all this stuff here just to showcase to you guys. Now, you've got his fiber gathering attack, which gathers a small amount of element dust. In my opinion, it's not really viable to use this on these nodules because you only get 53 dust. You only average about 30 to 50 dust per nodule. However, his 3rd attack, his C attack, actually grants you element shards, and occasionally you will get an element, a single piece of element. Now, obviously, you could go about not using the Theory and just going about using your metal tools. However, the option is there, and you do actually get a larger amount than you would on using your actual pickaxe. So you can see there, we're only getting element dust at the moment, and we've just managed to get element. So the Theory actually hasn't gathered any element just of yet, but he does gather quite a lot of element shards. So guys, the Theory comes in at number 3 because you can then use these element shards and turn them into element. As well as that, you can use them to power your turrets, you can use them to power your generators, and all that sort of stuff. So guys, the Theory comes in at number 3. Now coming in at number 2, we have the Dodicarus. I honestly was not expecting this guy to come in at number 2. I was expecting him to be higher than... I was expecting the Anki to be better than the Dodicarus. But, well, you'd be wrong. So, the Dodicarus goes about gathering a crap ton of element shards from the lampposts and everything else around the sanctuary area. This guy is nuts. You saw the Anki gathering about 40 to 60 element dust per lamppost per table that he was harvesting. Well, brace yourselves because the Dodicarus craps all over the Anki. Now you can see here that the Dodicarus almost gathers 3 times as much as the Anki. You can see there 146 element dust. As well as that, he also gathers a lot more crystal and electronics. Now, these guys are just 150 levels spawned in. They haven't got any extra levels into melee damage. They're not mutated in any way. So just imagine how much element dust you could get just from going about leveling up your Dodicarus and getting a decent line going of them. However, do be careful because they are a little bit bugged. Sometimes you can see here we're trying to hit this lamppost, but it doesn't actually let us. They are a little bit buggy sometimes, so do be careful with that and the lampposts. But other than that, the Dodicaruses are great. Now, unfortunately, they don't really reduce the weight of any of this stuff in their inventory. But if you're ever having trouble with them harvesting up lampposts, jump off them and they should auto-harvest it themselves. Unless, of course, they struggle to do that as well, which is a bit unfortunate. They are a little bit buggy, which really sucks for our cases. But you can see that they actually gather a crap ton of element dust and they're much better than the Anki and the Theory. Now, if you are having trouble with them ever gathering up a bunch of element dust from lampposts, pretty much you don't want to get a new one or anything because that's not going to fix it. Try and alter the level that they're sitting at in order to get them to hit it at a different angle. If they're straight, normally that works and actually allows them to hit it. But you could always come to this location and there are tables located just here. You can see here, you saw us hitting them with the Anki as well. These tables actually allow you to gather element dust as well. And these provide you with a crap ton. You can see here that this Dodicarus just gathered 817 element dust in the matter of seconds. Now we've just pumped up his melee damage a little bit more, so he'll actually be gathering us more element dust. And just from like 10 seconds alone, look at that. We've already got enough to make 1 piece of element. Now, obviously, this is the slower version. You could just go about completing the element veins. However, this is the option if you don't feel comfortable with doing those element veins. But already, so let's take a look here. We've already got 2 element with us. That is just from literally like 30 seconds of farming these tables. As well as that, we've also got a crap ton of electronics. And if the option is there for you to keep them, a ton of crystals as well. So guys, the Dodicarus definitely is one of the better creatures to use to gather element dust to turn it into element. So you can see there we've just crapped him up, pumped him up to level 377 melee damage, and he's gathering 400 element dust per swing. Dodicarus is nuts, and he's definitely the best option to gather element dust in Sanctuary. Let's move on to number 1. Now, finally, the creature coming in at number 1 is probably something you guys wouldn't have expected. The Mantis comes in at number 1. As you guys are aware, you can no longer use Dinos to actually harvest the element nodes anymore. You have to use metal tools, or obviously a Therosaurus. Now, the Mantis enables you to use metal tools, and you get the added benefit of his melee damage, which in turn means you get more element. You guys see where I'm going with this? So, for example, what we're going to do, we're going to give our Mantis some experience points. So you can see there, he's got 34 experience points. He's got 225.8 melee damage and an Ascendant pick. Now, you can use this with any sort of pick. Now, first off, what we're going to do, we're going to show you how much this guy gathers with a single swing. Boom! 266 element dust, 6 element shards, and 1 element. Now, you guys are probably thinking, wow, that's really not that much. Well, you pair this with the Ascendant pick and you bump up the melee damage. Honestly, this Mantis was a pretty crappy leveled melee damage. It only had like 220 something % melee damage, so it wasn't really that great. Now this was from one swing. So what we're going to do, we're going to come up to this other element node up here, and we're going to showcase to you. Now this is by far the best way to go about gathering the element shards using a dino, because the Mantis allows you to wield the metal tools, and which in turn allows you to gather all the element. Now, we've pretty much harvested all the mini nodules, so guys, let's go about harvesting the big boy, and we'll see. Now, this one was only a small one. It only had about 10k health, and we lost a bit of damage to it from the attacking dinos. Bam! But just like that, we've destroyed it, and we've gotten 54 element from it. 4,565 element dust, and 129 element shards. By far, the most amount of element we have gathered with any dinosaur in this video. And the Mantis is the only dinosaur slash creature that enables you to do this now because of their patch that they've put out that stops you from using dinos. Before you could harvest the element nodes with the Dodicarus and the Anki, you can no longer do that. So the Mantis is your best bet, along with a very good pickaxe and a decent melee damage leveled up on it. So guys, that is pretty much going to wrap up this video. Like I said, there are no longer any more dinosaurs that enable you to harvest the element nodes aside from the Theri and the Mantis that I've actually been able to find. So the Mantis is definitely your best bet for going about gathering the element nodes from the element veins. Other than that, if you want to go about using the Dodicarus for the lampposts located around Sanctuary, definitely go about doing that, because if you don't have a Mantis or you don't have a really good pickaxe, there's really not much point in doing the element veins, because you really won't get that much element in comparison to just spending like an hour farming all the lampposts and everything around Sanctuary with the Dodicarus. Trust me, it's much better doing it like that. So guys, we're going to wrap up the video there. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of the list down below. Let me know if you guys have any more suggestions for top 5s. But other than that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.